Jetzt hört man uns, glaube ich. Okay, let us start. Let us start with 15 people watching. No, 13. That's absolutely incredible nice because then I can interact with you. Actually, that's the main point, right? Isn't it? Let me see. Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. Let me, what? That's stupid. Oh, wait. I know. That's better. It's main better. A little bit. Not that much. But it's enough. Doesn't matter. Okay, I just need to spend some time here. After their update, they kicked my balls. Yes, both of them, not just one. However, let us see if everything else works. No, it doesn't. Still don't work. Jesus. DNN, what's up, bro? You told me they banned you on Twitter. Why, man? You need to use a bot, then they will not ban you anymore. That's the key on Twitter. You just need to be a bot, and that's it. Well, guys, let us start with a Q&A. 30 minutes from now on, you can ask everything. So let us start with cybercomputers. Actually, a very interesting name. Inspo, my bro, a lot of love to you and your family from India. Oh, Jesus, I love you guys from India. You are so kind and so lovely. Really big love to you all as well. To all your family and to all citizens there. Hopefully I will visit you there. Something I would love to do it in the future. To visit some countries, to make some conferences, and to talk about metrics, crypto, future, economy, transition, geopolitics, and a lot of stuff more. However, let us go directly to the questions. Cybercomputers' first question: how they manipulate BTC price with futures when in futures we are only buying contracts rather than real assets, Bitcoin? What happens, for example, first of all, we have a parallel market, you know? That's why we have a mechanism, for example, also not directly in that context, but also the funding rate and so on and so forth, so a stabilizer. However, you have these contracts have and generate, for example, in case they get liquidated, buy or sell orders. And that's partly why, for example, whales, when they want to push the price up, they liquidate shorts, because a short, when you are liquidating a short, you are generating a buy order. And that's, if you check, for example, the traditional future markets, not directly related to crypto, in general, that's what they do. That's why liquidation is very useful if you want to generate some pressure in the markets. It doesn't matter if it's to the upside, so shorts, or it's to the downside, for example, longs. But it's right that you can drive the whole markets with futures. You need the support by spot, always. Always. It's not possible just to drive a market with one asset. You need at least spot. That's the main one. Second, difference between stops, volume, and liquidity. Difference between stops, volume, and liquidity? What's the context, brother? To the futures? Stops? Futures? Volume? Well, we know what's volume. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. In a certain period of time, for example, 1 hour candle, if you have buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, because that's the whole market. It's demand and supply. You have someone with supply, you have someone with demand. both are meeting and say, listen, I want one Bitcoin for 30K. And the bearish guy, so in that case, usually the buyer sells, oh, 30K is a lot of money, bro. Let us make 29.50, and the seller said, yeah, that's great. That's why the price just declined. That's the main thing. So the volume, it's just indicating the strength of the market right now. If you have an intact market, means a nice volume, so a high volume, because then you have bigger demand, bigger supply. Then, of course, the price is indicating you who is winning. So what is driving the market? More the buyers, more the sellers. At the moment, more the buyers. Even if it's just in sequence, but at the moment, more the buyers. What was different? Liquidity, the money. You need liquidity. You need the money. It doesn't matter if it's Ethereum to buy Bitcoin, for example. It doesn't matter if fiat, whatever. So there where they will meet, for example, when sellers will, or buyers, but mainly sellers want to sell, they need liquidity. And they are looking for levels where they know that liquidity is concentrated. So that's the main driver then. Third, your opinion on does technical analysis really works? Emo 80% no. I would say it's really a big challenge now to answer to this question, because I have a follower, for example, ERC. He's a Spanish guy, ERC, well, Danny or something. I'm sorry if I'm spelling his name now not correctly, but he's only using FIBO, for example. And sometimes he's tweeting what he's doing, and I mean, it looks good. He's doing a great job. He's making he bought very nice, I would say the best dip, and sold. The last tweet, I think he mentioned he sold, and he's only using FIBO. Something I would never do, because I'm not convinced that FIBO has really anything to do with markets. No seller, no buyer, no whale will say, "Oh, wait, I need to wait maybe one day until we hit the next FIBO level." But hey, use whatever you need to use to be successful trading. And my opinion, and that is my main point, you need to cover almost everything, because the market is have different kind of market actors. Some of them are institutionals. Institutionals are using different charts, even different tools, for example, to detect some entry and some exit levels, different to a retailer and the masses. I would say they love to use FIBO, basic trends, basic patterns. I would say I'm using that. So VWAP, I'm not using the VWAP, even that's something that institutionals like to use, for example. Volume profile, also something mainly used by them, and so on and so forth. I would say TA is useful for some entries and exits, also related to supports, to resistance, but you need to combine that with different other things. If you see that the market is very low skilled with less institutionals involved, maybe it works with FIBO. That's something, to be honest, I have used FIBO in the beginning. I wasn't convinced. I checked different indicators and so on and so forth. And I decided, because that was the main point. And, I'm not a professional trader. I'm just an economist. So I would say more the theorist person. And I love math, I love formulas, I love numbers. That's part of me, and that's my passion. So for me, it makes more sense to check where's the flow coming in. So where's the liquidity, where's the money coming in, and where the high percentage and what level supply and demand can meet to make the big trades. So partly that's the volume profile, for example. George loves to use, for example, the POX and the volume profile, and that's something I totally agree, because that's where I think in the most basic thing in the market, supply and demand, is the right way how to detect the next big levels, supply, support and resistance. TA can work, but I'm not a fan to say only TA works, only on-chain works, only futures works, and so on and so forth. It's a combination, because the market structure is completely different, very, as mentioned, different traders, different skills, and so on and so forth. Crispin, could you compare the current increases crypto to another event in the past? No, I can't. Because the situation right now is completely different. Many persons are still watching 2018, 2016, 2015. I skip all that. I ignore that because it's completely different. The markets are now, in my opinion, I mentioned, I tried to explain that in another way. I have mentioned just in the last few weeks, even before we started to lift up, I have said we need to be careful in the future, because their books, institutionals, bankers, insurances, hedge funds, well, I don't know, maybe hedge funds, but banks, at least in Europe, I know, their books are filled. Their portfolio, they didn't sell anything big. And now, unfortunately, they are noticing, crap, this situation is not transitory. We can laugh now and say, what? Are you kidding me? They didn't know that? No, they ignored that. They thought, oh, if inflation is transitory, that's okay. We will buy more the dip and go up. And they missed that. They portfolios are filled. BlackRock, big trouble because of that. Deutsche Bank, big trouble because of that. Their books are filled. So when that happens, usually you only have one way to pump the market. That's the only way. And that's what I call an exit pump. An exit pump doesn't need to be very high. And I need to separate equities, commodities with crypto, because crypto is just another thing. We have weekends, for example, it's 24/7 open. Even institutionals are involved, but not on that way, like, for example, related to equities and commodities. So it's a different league, I would say. And only because Bitcoin went up doesn't mean it can't, for example, just nuke over the weekend like it happened in the past. And that's something we need to have in mind, and that's why I don't like to trade anymore weekends with low volume, because in my opinion it's just up or down, or sometimes absolutely nothing happens. Like, I think that was last week, if I'm not wrong, that was at least Saturday, that was like a flat line. Nothing happened, extremely low volume. So to compare the current situation with the situation in the past is not possible. It's really not possible. Fear in the markets, even institutionals nervous, and so on and so forth, they know it. When JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs said, oh, we are driving to a recession, and they said that when? 6 weeks ago? And what changed since then? Well, on the data, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Their rhetoric changed. Also, the politicians just changed their rhetoric. No, it's not recession. We need to redefine recession. No, you don't need to make a new definition for something that's defined since decades, because it's always the same. And that's the big problem that we have at the moment, and that's why I tweeted just before, they are fooling retailers at the moment. That's the only thing. What you see, it's an illusion that they are constructing at the moment because they need that. Otherwise, they can't reduce their balances. That's the only thing. It seems that even the Fed has the same problem. If you check, for example, my last tweet about the reduction of the Fed balances, you will see they are not every week reducing. Depends on the market. Sometimes they are even adding assets to the balance. And that's why they missed, instead of reducing 30 billions, they just reduced 23 billions last month. So you are noticing that the markets are very nervous. They're at the moment, they are just, when you are in panic and you start to make jokes, well, that's a similar situation right now. Everything is fine. Everything is cool. We will go up. The bear market is over, like they just started the bear market in November. You remember, Bitcoin just declined by 20%, and then afterwards the whole media started to tell about the bear market is here. The bear market is here. The bear market is here. Now Jim Cramer and many others are saying, no, it's not recession and the bear market is over. Now only moon. I would be extremely, extremely careful with that. And that's why I decided, I take a break, check the markets. If I miss 20, 30, 40, 200%, I wouldn't care about that, to be honest, because I need to invest my money first. And I'm not convinced that everything what's happening, mainly related to Bitcoin, it's true. That's it. Because I know the whole environment looks absolutely not stable. Cybercomputers, most important question. How can I say 1 billion times thank you and love you? You're a lovely guy. Thank you very much, mate. Big hug. Starscream, no, Stars Cream, yeah. It's over. Love you, Inspo. Inspo light of crypto, some of crypto. Thank you, businessman. Oh, Jesus. Love you guys. It's over. I don't know, Starscream, what you mean with is over. I really don't know. No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely not. Eric, Inspo, I'm fucked 80% in liquidity, lost my positions waiting for the nuke when we were at 21k. What chances do you have of the big nuke? Better buy a little in case it doesn't happen. Thank you. Well, as you know, I mean, the data, the matrix, everything what happened in the past, everything, I mean, the matrix usually, and that's something where it doesn't matter if the whole situation is changing or not. The metrics are there. They don't lie. They can't lie. Math can't lie. You can manipulate the numbers, but math can't lie. It is. So the metrics are indicating that they sent a lot of Bitcoin to exchanges. And yeah, we had a lot of volume within a week or so. But usually when they do that, and that's what we have seen in the past, they sent, for example, 100,000 Bitcoins, they sold 60,000 and they keep 40,000 on the exchanges. And that's why I also said and demonstrated that on Coinbase, for example, we have a rising BTC reserves. The question is when they want to execute, when it's the time to press the button and they start to distribute just to push down, down, down. Because these guys always do the same. They buy, they distribute, they push down, they buy, they distribute. So 21k, we need to see. I mean, at the moment we can see we have here that Binance, they are limiting at 23k. They have some limitations here. something that's wondering me, because even last year, if we are talking about, for example, now patterns, last year we can remember after they pushed up because the bull market was over, when FTX just scam pumped buying 55,000 bitcoins July 21st, they started to remove the liquidity to the downside. And it's not happening. It's absolutely not happening. They are locking here a lot of liquidity and nobody can tell me why. Usually, when they are doing that, that's just because they are waiting and expecting a bigger move to the downside. It doesn't mean we need to go to 10,000 straight, because that's not how the market works. I mean, if we go zoom out, we will see markets go up maybe 3,000 and then they go down 1,500 or even 2,000 and then again up. The trend is up, but we will make, like they call it, corrections. So in my opinion, 21K, if you have a decent leverage, not talking about 20, 30, 40 or whatever, it should be okay. In my opinion, as you can see here, everything below 25K is waiting. It's really waiting. Yeah, they are absorbed here, they absorbed here, so that's what they are doing stage by stage, absorbing, absorbing, absorbing. Even we have here 26,000, yeah, we have, I mean, 28, 30, and we will find here at 35, and we will find some sell orders at 40, and if we look, we will find in any exchange an order at 100,000 surely as well. We need to see where the market is expecting some price activity. In my opinion, at the moment, they are looking for that here. To be honest, if they want to go more up, they need to go down. Would I buy? No. I wouldn't buy. I wouldn't buy. I would try to reduce my leverage, for example, just to have a, much buffer for my margin and my liquidation level, just to raise my liquidation more. But that's it. I wouldn't buy. I'm not buying. I'm not buying. I bought, I sold, and now I stay away. Just to see, just to take a break. Maybe in a few weeks I will jump in again. When the market is convincing me. At the moment it's not convincing me. Killian, hey Inspo, hat dich der Dump des 30 Weights Ratio in der Vergangenheit immer ausgespielt und gab es Ausnahmen, bei denen... No, okay. Killian is asking if the Weights Ratio 30 days moving average always played out. Yes, always played out. Always. Sometimes with little delay. So the problem of the Weights Ratio is it's just a preparation. That some think the Weights Ratio is rising, so indicating they send bitcoins to exchanges and the price has to dump immediately afterwards. No, that's a preparation. They are planning, they are preparing something, but we don't know when they want to start it. So if we check in the past, it correlates with events. That's why I expected GDP is going to be worse, 75 BPS, PCE, but they don't care. That's like last year, so a little bit July 21st, where just Sam bought 55,000 bitcoins, in my opinion, convinced that the ECC is going to allow and to agree to a spot ETF. And yeah, it looks like, it's the same, but we also know that markets don't dump only or don't pump only. So yes, it will happen. I'm totally convinced, and yes, a little bit surprised that the markets are right now starting in such very infantile way to ignore everything. Just to really ignore everything. GDP is crap, doesn't matter. I will push. The whole economy is in a recession, doesn't matter. We will redefine it. You know, that's what's happening at the moment. And yeah, it's surprising me, but I'm completely convinced, and I said that many times, I'm absolutely convinced the next nuke should happen soon, and it will be a hell. Because, in my opinion, this time they sent a lot of bitcoins. And in my opinion, we should be prepared because my scenario is aggressive dump. I don't know why, but aggressive dump. I'm not going to delete all these Q and A's and so on and so forth. So if I'm wrong, you can show me and send me every day a reminder. Look, look, you were wrong. But I'm really convinced I'm not. Um, I have had about 12 accounts banned for political posts. Die Allen, come on, man. You are the bot. Killian, für mich wahrscheinlich hältst du es das 17 nach dem Bruder. Killian is asking if the bottom is in because of the 1718. No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we have a long, long way to go. Markets, I mean, the bottom is in if we start a new cycle, a new bull run, and so on and so forth. That's not going to happen. I'm absolutely convinced 17, 18. I was calling since last year 24K as a possible bottom, and everybody was laughing and everybody was saying Inspo, Perma-Bear, 24K, ha ha ha. I don't know. I blocked a lot of people because of that. We did 24K. I was happy, said, yeah, I said that. And then we did even $6,000 lower. And that surprised me. But checking the whole chart, the market, what's happening, the failing or the missing ammo by the Fed because they have very limited options really to fix the economy problem with monetary tools, in my opinion, we will go more to the downside. And 17, 18 is not the bottom. Absolutely not. Even if we go up, we will go down even more. Sabamo, love from India. Again, big love to India, bro. Kasotti, hi from Greece. That's great. Thank you very much, mate. Big love. Luciano Inspo, happy that you make this alive. I'm from Argentina. Che, un argentino. Bienvenido. We know something about inflation, but not world inflation. It is really worrying me. Yeah. But could it be that by tightening the pegs, the Fed looks hopefully that everything will be solved with just in time? But why? Why? Why should that? I mean, just imagine, Luciano, in Argentina, what they did and why the inflation went up. I mean, we can't compare the situation now between Argentina, the hyperinflation of the 80s, 90s, for example, with the current situation. But the problem is a global problem, and that's what I'm talking since a while. It's globally. It's not a national one. When Trump said just a few years ago, we need to bring our industry back home. We need to bring our economy back home. He knew what's going to happen. And that happened. They didn't happen. Instead, the tensions against China, for example, are rising. We don't need to talk about Russia. And everyone knows that big conflict with China means a disruption of the whole supplier industry. I mean, the US said to Europe, we shouldn't buy energy from Russia, but they are doing it. They tell us we shouldn't buy ammonia from Russia, but they are doing it. And we have evidences. They are doing it. They have intact trading agreements with Russia right now. That's happening. Because they want to avoid the nightmare scenario. And the nightmare scenario is the Fed, they can't rise all the time the interest rates. But to be honest, that's the only tool they have that could work, because balances, their asset balances, they can't just reduce by 1.5 trillion. If you check SPY, SP 500, it's a 30 trillion US dollar market, so it's nothing, it's peanuts. But on the other side, if you start to rise the rates all the time, it's a big punishment, not only for consumers, because we know that many consumers depends on debts, loans, credits, and so on and so forth. So credits are getting more expensive while we have an inflation, while banks want to make a good deal, but they can't. That's a big problem, and that's a loop. A loop where I don't see any positive exit here. The only thing is changing is the rhetoric, and that's why I'm saying, just the rhetoric. We are not in a recession. We need to refine that. In December, they said inflation is good for us. That's the way how they want to solve the thing. And if you're repeating a lie all the time, at certain point, many people will believe it. Unfortunately. So we will see. In my opinion, many are expecting a people. I think that's suicide. If they want to do that, they are just going to accelerate the worst case. And it will take months, but we will collapse then. The economy is overheated. They printed and printed and printed and printed, and really they float the markets with cheap money. They can't suck now. They can't absorb all that money. They can't take that money out from the markets like they need to do. They reacted too late, and now to think, hey, the economy looks extremely bad. Now the Fed will change and bring people, and yeah, they can do that. But that's like your house is burning and you try to fight the fire with gas. You can try it. You really can try, but I don't think you will be successful. Let us go forward. Kilian, woran machst du deine Sportkäufe fest? Hast du bestimmte Preise, an denen du bestimmte Prozent investierst, oder machst du es zum Beispiel daran fest, wenn die Market Maker anfangen zu akkumulieren? Okay, here's asking, what is driving my decision when I want to buy some spot? If I invest, if I'm checking some levels, or okay, Kilian, I short story. I'm long-term investor, and that's why I'm doing a break right now, because just because of the market, I adapted to the market, and I have started to trade very frequently. That takes time, and usually I'm not trading with low volume, so it's also a stress factor. Usually I'm long-term trader. I buy something long-term for the next 5, 10, 20 years. Doesn't matter. That's what I do. That's why I have fusion. That's why, certain spots are there since months, and I will not sell them. Even if we crash, even if we go to 300,000, I will not sell them. I will sell them because I believe in crypto. I know that crypto today is a big dip. Even if Bitcoin will go up to 60,000 or 100,000, it's still a dip, because that's like stock exchanges in 1920. Well, not maybe in 1920, but let us say 1960. It's better. However, but 1960. Imagine you bought Apple, and you would start to sell Apple in the beginning of the 90s, as an example, or Microsoft. And then you check now the stock price and you say, oh Jesus. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not making, I don't care to make money with trades, usually. I started, but it takes a lot of time, while the market is right now just pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump. And I thought, well, we can use the swings and so on and so forth. but it's taking a lot of time, um, and that's why I'm doing a break. However, that's why the only conditions why I'm buying spot, I don't care about the price. My fusion, I bought them, I would say 30% of my fusions I bought at 40 cent. And they moved afterwards to almost $2. I didn't sell because I really don't care. When I buy spot, usually really long term. And right now it's a big dip. I mean, Luxo, $7, even Atom, 11, even Quant. I mean, yes, we were at $44 or something. Now it's at $110. Dip, still a dip, because I know after regulation, after mass adoption, they will flow the market with capital. What do you think will happen? And that's why I love low supply projects. Subimal, Inspo wasn't your long-term target for FSN? Well, long-term is long-term. I'm expecting on Fusion, you will off absolutely at least $1,000 in the next 5, 6 years, maybe less. Depends of the global economy and how everything will change, if we will stabilize and so on and so forth. But Fusion has, in my opinion, a huge potential. I have spent a lot of time studying because and I mentioned that I'm still interested in make a project with Fusion. I was talking to the CEO. I love their project. I have spent a lot of time checking their white paper, different. It's huge what they are doing, and I mean it's not. When the European Union mentioned last year, I think it was the European Union or the World Economy. I don't know if it was the WEF or it was the EU, but one of them mentioned Fusion, telling about the potential for the banking sector, and I agree totally. I really agree totally, and that was the beginning to start to research about Fusion. That was the beginning where I have started to accumulate Fusion, and I will not sell them. How long it started, guys? If big newcomers are stable coins in risk, what is the best option to protect our gains out of the banks? PEX. Well, first of all, we need to see what the regulators are going to tell about stablecoins, because we know every stablecoin that is not 100% backed by the asset that they represent. So, for example, USDT needs 100% cash behind. USDC, exactly the same. BUSD, exactly the same. PXG needs gold behind. So if they are backed 100%, IBS, that's the central bank of the central banks, are fine with stable coins, at the moment at least. But everything else, they mentioned several times, they are absolutely not fine for them, because of course that's then a different asset, a competitor of the asset that the central banks are releasing. And that's of course not in their interest. So if you want to be safe with stablecoins, I would invest my money in BUSD, Paxos. People told me DAI is not really good. They invest and they are not backed by US dollars. So everything where it's 100% backed by fiat, because that's the only way where I would say, even if their regulation for stablecoins are coming, they would be safe. Shagri, thank you so much, Inspo. I'm always watching market analysis and it helped me a lot. Thank you very much, bro. Eric, I sold spot Inspo, no leverage. Are you sold spot? Well, let me see your question. At 21K. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't can give you any advice, to be honest. As you know, I'm convinced we will nuke, so I wouldn't buy. I would wait until the price retraced. To be sure, well, the next retrace, the next correction, I would maybe invest 33% of my money and wait with the other 66% for the big nuke, to be honest. But if they are really going to change the narrative, if they are really going to bring us a whole fictional story about the market looks great and they start to redefine everything just to fool us, we can go, of course, higher. And that's what I said, only because the weights were preparing something like they did, by the way, also last year. And you remember, we went down, but I mean, in one day, they dumped 70,000 bitcoins. 70,000 bitcoins in one day. And we didn't crash to 26. We had a huge volume, but afterwards, even, we started to lift up and we pumped. So that would be, in my opinion, worst case, because I don't see huge accumulation at the moment. Market makers are not accumulating. Even the other entities are not really accumulating. So that's something where I would say, I don't like to see, because that's what they did last year. For example, I mean, I don't want to compare that, but I mentioned in different analysis already, that would be the worst case. If we go up without any accumulation, because then it means that's exit pump. That's the end. The ship is sinking, and these guys just want to drop and to dump their bitcoins. That's it. If they are not accumulating, that's why I can't believe that this is going to be the next bull run, because then the market is done. I'm absolutely convinced. I mean, even then, we should notice a huge volume like last year, but at the moment, I'm not detecting that. So we need to be patient. I'm patient. I hate to be patient, but I need to be patient because I know it's going to play out. I really know it's going to play out. Chile, is the rock strong? Is red sus? What? Okay. Alex, pump and then hard dump. Yes. Crispin, after that we had to wait almost 10 years for some of these companies to start bringing in the profits they talked about in the 2000s. After that, I don't know if I'm missing your context, bro. Luciano, bueno, que el mercado caiga ya, así compramos el spot. Caerá, caerá. Okay, that's it. And again, I said 30 minutes, and now it's 43, but I need to check, of course, also Discord. Discord is clear, so we are clear. Oh, that's it. Let let us check. I mean, let us go and check some charts. That would be then the last. That's what they are doing all the time, and I really, you see that this market is really just in few hands. Otherwise, it's not going to work, really not. Let me check. Come on, where's my favorite app? Epic Pen. Where are you now? Ah, here. Oh, okay. That's what they are doing. Okay, let the price go up, distribute. Let the price go up, distribute. Let it go up, distribute. Let it go up, distribute. That's what they are doing all the time. Absolutely. It doesn't look like this one. These guys are really desperate to let the price go up and the next bull run is going to happen. We had yesterday 4,300 bitcoins. I don't see them here in the aggregated volume. We had 1,700 bitcoins just 2 hours ago. So everything looks like preparation. And even if I check here, for example, we have different fund flows related to centralized exchanges and potential OTC. So the OTC at the moment looks more bearish than bullish, while certain exchanges, like for example Coinbase or almost the US American ones, if we check for example here, FTX, bearish. Usually Bitfinex, it's more related to bullish. So if you see, for example, a huge fund flow and afterwards the price went up, that means they were just buying. And the same like here, Coinbase, for example. So yeah, as said, just in my analysis, today, usually when that happens, we need just to be careful and wait what's going to happen next, because Sunday is usually the key day. If we check, for example, here, that's Coinbase, and as you know, Coinbase only have spot. So it's really interesting if you see, okay, their reserve just reached a new low and then it went up. Usually when it went up means, hey, someone is sending bitcoins to the exchange, but not selling yet. So if we had here almost 589,000 bitcoins and we have now 612,000, it means we have 24,000 bitcoins still there. That's what it says. And unfortunately, we can't track the same with the others because CryptoQuant don't separate spot from derivative exchanges. If we go, for example, to Binance, if we go here to Binance, that's a combination between spot and exchange and spot and derivative. Jesus. So it looks like, so wow, what's happening here? That looks great. Yeah, but I don't know if these almost 80,000 bitcoins, yeah, 80,000 are spot or derivative. I can't say that. That's a big problem. I can have a spot derivative exchanges view, but it's not useful because then it's the aggregated view. I just want to see if the Binance spot is rising. In my opinion, it is, but I can't see that, unfortunately. If we go here and we can start to check what's happening here, you see a lot of shorts still there. If we go to Binance directly, like I did today, for example, just to see what the weights are doing there. So if we check here, 45 to 55, indicating still the biggest positions are on the long side. If we check here, it's 56 to 44, indicating the biggest accounts are on the short side. So big whales, so the count of whales are on the short side, shorting, but even we have less whales longing, these whales are using more volume, so maybe also more leverage. That's what's indicating you. If we check here, we see we have at the moment a bigger short ratio, long short ratio, 60 to 40. That's really hardcore. But if weights are shorting, it's a big option that we will go down tomorrow. I would at least expect that. But you see the open interest is also declining, indicating they're closing contracts, maybe taking profit. If we go to the aggregated view, we can see that. So here the open interest lifted up. Okay, that's not Binance. So someone, I guess, Bitfinex, lifted up here in open interest and also in funding rate. Then it declined. Now it's lifting up again. In my opinion, if we go back, for example, here in my overview, Oh, they didn't really. What are they doing right now? Oh, unfortunately, because I have mentioned just for me that's the most interesting part. We had this trend line, and I was expecting a little bit higher because of that, and we would have a long way to the downside if we make exactly the same what we did, but we failed here, for example. So the big question is, was that just right now something like a double top and we go down? That's something I could expect. I wasn't expecting, I really was expecting a little bit higher for 24,700, 24,800 before we go down, but we need to see what's going to happen. Usually Saturdays it's not the big day for price actions, it's tomorrow. So if that here plays out, I would say, yeah, we can go down, yeah, we can go up, yeah, maybe we will see 28,000, but then down. It would surprise me a lot because the Waves ratio 30 days moving average never needs weeks to play out. Never. So that would surprise me, to be honest. So we need to see what Bitcoin is going to do. If for them that's the top, and from now on we will go down hitting 22,300, for example. So we will see. Yeah, Bybit, but I'm always checking Binance because of its liquidity, and these guys are the big one, and that's why I'm only tracking Binance because of their volume, because of the market maker, and so on and so forth. Also, something that we know and that worked very well in the past. If we check, for example, the market maker, I have mentioned that yesterday. They added to its balance, and I said we need to be careful because it wouldn't be the first time that they reduce the balances afterwards. They send to OTC, they send to Binance to push the price down. It seems that's what they are doing at the moment because we had here bigger activity by the market maker. Even here in the last 2 hours, another 1,000 bitcoins. It's not big, absolutely not. The biggest one was here, that was yesterday. No, 2 days before. So that was Thursday with 3,700 Bitcoin. So that's it. You have a nice and current overview what's happening right now in the market. Let us see what is going to happen now with Bitcoin, because if they want to push Bitcoin more up, it would make sense to let dump now, even Sunday, and start to buy again Monday. Because if we check SPX, for example, I mean, to be honest, after such a rally, we know what happens next. That's what it happens. Up, down, up. If it wants to go more up, of course, but we will see such a correction. We know that Bitcoin, or the crypto market, has some algos following SPY. And that explains why Bitcoin started to lift up today after they had just such a sideways run. Because while SPY algos were pushing up, they could distribute without to have any impact to the price. Great. It's absolutely wow. If I would be a whale with billions in my account, I would do exactly the same. And then Saturday, great, I push up. That's the best you can do. If they want really to use these algos, and these algos are doing exactly the same, they are just following SPY, use them. That's artificial demand. It's the best way you can do that. I don't know who is using these algos, but they are using them. So Monday, if everything works as I think, Monday the algos will go to the downside. So start to push to the downside because SPY should start to initiate a correction, for example. So what would I do then if the price is going down, down? Let us make 21,000 because we have here a bigger POC. Let us just say it's 21,000. That's great. I will start to buy here again. With the sell pressure, I will maintain that price, can buy the dip, and even waiting for the next weekend and then push up the price with low volume. Would be, for example, one scenario, just to have that in mind. Okay, so we will see what's going to happen next. They did here on Binance, unfortunately, only 24,660, as I see. Let me see. Yeah, unfortunately. So they didn't, as expected, 24,830 or 850. So we will see what's going to happen next. I mean, let us wait. With low volume, I'm not sure if they want to go straight down. I think they will go up, down, more up, then down, and so on and so forth. So let us see what's going to happen. Big love. Now it's time to turn off. Rest your weekend. Don't spend your all the time just trading. Big love. We will see us tomorrow. No, tomorrow is Sunday, but the day after, Monday. And we will start again to see what's going to happen with the markets. Be careful, in my opinion. Equities will start red next week. I'm still convinced VIX will go up like a rocket, and usually we will see some bad data for Europe, I guess, next week with some bad news that could give also DXY a big push to the upside, and then everything will change. So big love, be careful trading. Your Inspo. See you Monday. Bye bye.